Hello everybody, in today's video I wanted to talk about the Dual Wield Saugs, which are part of the operator mod for the Saug 9mm. And for the most part, if you saw my operator mod ranking video, you'll know that most of the operator mods aren't really worth equipping. When you take a look at the Dual Wield Saug, I think it's definitely an exception to that. And one of the main reasons for that is because typically when you equip an operator mod, you still need a ton of attachments to make that weapon effective. And the even crazier thing with the Dual Wield Saug is you're not even able to equip some of those attachments. So no optic, which obviously makes sense, but there's also a bunch of other attachments you're not able to equip. And the limited attachments you are able to equip still leave a ton of space, so you're still able to equip your gear and you are still able to equip 3 different perks. And in terms of time to kill, this thing is an absolute melt machine of 165 milliseconds at that point blank range. There's only one weapon in the game that has a faster time to kill, and that is the Damon 3XB with 150 milliseconds, which is basically 1 frame difference. So with it being as strong as it is, why do you guys think more people don't use this weapon on a regular basis? Let me know down in the comment section. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on this weapon? And we'll go ahead and get into a gameplay breakdown as well as a best class setup. So just a reminder, if you do enjoy the content in any way or find it helpful, please remember to hit that like button because that does allow the video to get seen by more people. And if you're part of this 67.3% that is currently not subscribed and you want to find your way back to the channel and improve at Call of Duty, make sure you hit that red subscribe button, turning it to gray, and ring that bell so you'll get notifications every time I post a video. The best class setup for the Saug dual wield is going to be the fast mag as well as the suppressor attachment. Obviously you can go without the suppressor, but you kind of want to be stealthy with these things because you're going to be going on a ton of flanks. So in terms of perks, I think the scavenger perk is basically a non-negotiable. You're going to run out of ammo so quick with this thing, even if you run crash. I think Gung Ho is the next best perk for perk 2. And the main reason for that is because you're going to lower your sprint out time, which will allow you to get that first shot off faster. And you can either go with Ghost or Dead Silence. Personally, I prefer Dead Silence because I can usually stop the enemy from getting a ton of UAVs. And as far as gear goes, you can either run that stim shot or the acoustic sensor. And of the two, I prefer the acoustic sensor just because you're going to want to make sure you're able to time those engagements properly so you can make sure you win those gunfights. And one of the best parts about this weapon is I think it actually has a high fun factor. And what I mean by that is it's just pretty much fun to use. Run and gun, come around the map, insta kill people. Obviously you got to use it the right way so you're not dying unnecessarily. The only real downside with this weapon is since it does have that limited range, you have to be very patient in a lot of different scenarios. Right here I was waiting to see what was going to happen. I jumped in there, thought the guy was kind of in that corner, but he didn't move for quite a bit, so he didn't pop up on my acoustic sensor, and luckily I was able to get out of that scenario without dying. And for those of you who are watching the channel for a while, you know that the middle of the map is the ideal lockdown area for this particular map, and that is a little bit harder to do when you're actually using the dual wielding, because you're not going to be able to engage those people off the head glitches. You're just not going to be able to push them the right way. So a lot of stuff is about timing. Unfortunately, there was another guy coming around behind him, but I would have been able to take out that first guy. And because of the design of Slums, is one of those maps that if you do not have that map control right at the middle of the map, you are likely going to lose the match. So I skipped ahead a little bit just so I can show you how the progression of a streak will actually change the pace of the game. And in this particular scenario, you could have rushed in there, but there are a lot of enemies pushing in, so that probably wasn't going to be the best scenario. So right now I can actually see that there's a guy flanking around, so I go ahead and try and help out the teammate because I thought it was going to come through. Teammate ends up clearing him out. And now I'm seeing where they're at on the mini map. I'm seeing if they're going to be coming through mid. And this is not really the safest area for me. I'm able to take out this first guy. The second one, I missed a few shots, but he got tack boosted as I was shooting him, or else I would have had a little bit better chance to take him out. I end up getting fully healed, re-engaged, and I'm able to take the guy out. So right here, I only get 50 score from calling in my TAC 5 boost. I didn't realize that other people had already had their TAC 5 boost and somebody left the game, so I kind of ended up losing out on some score there that pretty much would have guaranteed my score streak. So right here, I'm just trying to bait this guy, get out of the way. He's going to go ahead and chase me down, and then I'm seeing he's coming around over here. The acoustic sensor pays dividend, and then I'm able to take him out. And now that I have a UAV in the air, I got to start working on some of those other streaks. I'm only 400 off that sniper's nest, then obviously that'll get me the strike team. Right here, there's a guy coming around the backside. I'm choosing when I want to engage the guy. Looks like he let off all of his bullets, so he was caught reloading, and I was able to time that appropriately. And here's the really hard part for people because you have to be patient. You can see my teammates are not pushing forward. They're not controlling the map. But if I push out, I'm going to get absolutely destroyed. there's not going to really be a gunfight because they're going to be out of my hip fire spread range. And you can see right here, if I would have pushed forward, I probably would have been shot from the left. So that's why I kind of jump, get a lucky hit marker, and I'm able to take that guy out. It looks like there are people coming around through mid, and I'm just trying to pay attention to see what's going on. You can see that my teammates are starting to push through that little building on the right hand side. We're starting to get that map control. Someone's with me, somebody's kind of sneaking in, and then it kind of looks like there's somebody coming around that far left side that's pretty much sitting on that head glitch. And the guy ends up coming around. You can see that my teammate ends up taking him out before I even get a chance to land a bullet. Now I'm just trying to play this the slow game because it looks like there are a few of them rushing me. And I just got to play my life because I know I'm going to need the streaks to maintain that lead, because more often than not, if I don't get my streaks, my team will start throwing the game away, because there's always that one guy on your team that goes like 4 and 25 and pretty much just gives the game away. So you got to get those kills faster than the enemy could possibly kill your team. And one of the main reasons I wanted to focus on Slums when it came to the dual wielding is because there is a lot of limited mobility when it comes to crossing the map. It's very predictable 3-lane map. You're not generally going to be able to flank unless it's like this, where I just happen to catch them as I'm coming around the corner, and I probably would have got the second guy if my teammates didn't clear him up. Right here, I'm only 20 points off that next streak, and you can see where everything is happening on the minimap. Guy coming through, I land a few bullets there, sniper's nest is going in, and I'm able to get that strike team. So even though I had a slow start, I was still able to lead my team in kills. I ended up going 36 and 6, had a pretty decent KD, but nothing crazy. It was just not the ideal map for that particular weapon. Whereas this gameplay right here is absolutely disgusting. This is a very good weapon and class setup for this type of map, and pretty much any map that has a very strong flank route, and this one does have that flank route where I just came through, is the best flank route on this particular map. And even though on this map there's some pretty decent sight lines, for the majority of the gunfights they're all pretty much close quarters, so you're able to maximize the effectiveness of this weapon. I was able to catch this whole team coming out of spawn, and because I had the suppressor, they had no clue where I was. As good as this weapon can be when you know how to use it, I'm surprised more people don't actually use it. You see a lot of people run the fire shotgun, which is very strong in the right scenarios. The same thing with the SG-12, as well as a few other weapons in the game that are kind of annoying to go against. But the other weapons that I just listed, I see those 10 times more often than I actually see the dual wielding Saug, even though the dual wielding Saug pretty much has no counter, other than just camping very long sight lines, which I think people typically struggle with. So I'm fairly certain that this is the enemy spawn. You can see I peek it real quick before I decide to rush and see if I can actually take any of these guys out. I'm not shooting my weapon, I'm not giving away my position. I come up, able to take out both those guys, and then I go ahead and push towards my team. And that's what you typically need to do, because when you're near your teammates and you got a good idea of what's going on in the minimap, you could reassess the situation and decide how you want to move forward. And I've talked about in previous videos before that if you're not spending at least half the time looking at the minimap, you're playing Call of Duty wrong, especially if you're playing core game modes. And even if you're playing hardcore, you should be getting UAVs so that you can look at the minimap about half of the time you play the game. And right here, I pretty much do the exact same loop. I check the spawn real quick, I come through, see if there's multiple people, I wait for them, take them out, and then I'm not close enough to the other guy to clean them up, so I go ahead and back off and relocate. I could have probably challenged that guy, but for me, it was a little bit too much risk because I didn't know what was going on right up the stairs. There could have been 3 other enemies there, and I could have been in a really bad spot. And even though we're focusing on the Dual Wield Saug here, a lot of the information that I'm giving specific to this particular playstyle fits a ton of other weapons in the game. So if you're working on specific challenges with a specific weapon, you can use these same strategies to navigate the map, position yourself the right way, and take the engagements that are going to allow you to win more gunfights or prevent the gunfight from ever happening. And I think that's sometimes what people miss when they play Call of Duty. They don't understand how much you can outsmart the enemy players. And that's one of the main reasons I enjoy doing the content I do, is because there's several people that have improved from watching my videos. And that's because throughout a single video, I demonstrate a ton of tips and tricks about positive behaviors that'll lead to more successful outcomes. So now that the strike team's in with the sniper's nest, I'm able to navigate the map fairly freely. You can see how I'm rushing through. I know there's a few people in this left area. I'm waiting for that acoustic sensor to go off. They run out in front of me, I'll be able to take them out. So right now I'm just playing that patience game again. But because of my location where my teammates are, it forces the enemies to spawn in a specific location where you can see my strike team is just absolutely slaughtering the enemy team. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of waiting it out. Before I actually push up, I'm going to check that spawn again, the same thing I've done every single time. And it's those little habits that if you get into the habit of doing them, you're going to be much better off. I'm able to come around, flank these guys again. They're all distracted with my teammates. Clean kill, and look at the rotation again. And now I'm deciding if I'm going to go ahead and push through. Decide to push through. I see that the guy's there. Luckily, I'm able to take that guy out because the distance was perfect. But no one knows I'm there because I have a suppressor. And in reality, the only one that's going to know I'm in this area is the person I just killed. So I go ahead and take this guy out. There's another one coming for me. He comes down and I take him out a second time. So that person's a little bit upset. And the reason I bring that up is because I got a little too greedy. I hung out in this area way too long. Take out that guy, and then I'm still camping out in this area, locking it down. And what you're going to see is this other guy decides to play it smart. He makes it so that that range is a little too long, so he ends up outplaying me. Eventually, he outplays me because he knows what I'm working with. I end up being 40-0 in that moment. So kudos to that player because he switched up his tactic and he was able to nullify my advantage. But in addition to that, I should have never gave him the opportunity to correct that behavior. I should have backed off, came at a different angle, and I think a lot of you guys do this same mistake, especially when you start getting on a streak and you're very successful in one particular area of the map. You decide to stick it out and see what you can actually do from that area, but inevitably, time and time again, if you stay in one area for too long, the enemies will come after you very aggressively because they get kind of frustrated dying in the exact same way. And an example of that is I could have probably killed that guy on 10 different locations of the map. But since I killed him in the same location, probably within like 30 or 45 seconds of each other, the guy already knew what was up. He said, I'm going to attack this guy in a different way. I'm going to outsmart him. I'm going to outplay him. And I'm going to take advantage of his weakness, which is range. And you could even see it in his behavior. As I come up that stairs, he's backing up to increase that range, which is a very smart move. And this is why becoming better at the game is a lot about outplaying your enemies. Because for the most part, if we go head to head, the gunfight is really about gun skill. Who has the better accuracy along with the better reaction time. And I know for a fact that I don't have the best accuracy and I do not have the best reaction time. I'm 31 years old. The majority of the player base is in their teens or early 20s. So to overcome those different obstacles, I have to play smarter than my opponents. And sometimes that's easier said than done. But also one of the main reasons I enjoy playing Call of Duty so much is because I can think of newer and better ways to actually outsmart my opponents. And when you see those results improving over time, it's very rewarding. And that's what I enjoy about Call of Duty. And I know a lot of you that watch the channel on a regular basis could probably relate to that because you continue to come back to the channel and continue to improve over time, whether it's over days, weeks, or months, or whatever the case is, you continue to improve. So it figures the only other death I had in the match was from a specialist. I ended up going 49-2. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. If you're brand new around here, please remember to hit that subscribe button with notifications on so you'll be able to find your way back to the channel. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.